Y'all, how's it going? Welcome to week 33 vlog. Guys, I gotta start looking this up before I start my videos. Lana would like to say hello. Hey girl. So we are going to start out this video. I have yet, as a southern woman, I have yet to make fried okra this summer, which feels like a crime, especially with how much okra I'm growing right now. So I have just enough okra to fry some up for me and my boyfriend. He's on his way back from a weekend out of town, so I thought I would surprise him with lunch. So I'm gonna do barbecue beef sandwiches out of pot roast that I made last week. We're gonna do some fried okra. Maybe we'll squeeze another vegetable in there. People usually learn to like okra through fried okra. And like, here's the deal. I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool with you needing to fry something to like it, as long as you'll try it. That's really more what I care about. So we're going to come into the kitchen with crappy lighting, and we're gonna fry up some okra as a good start to this vlog that's in the dead of summer. So, first things first, we have our okra. This is a combination of my Jing orange, my burgundy, and my Clemson spineless. You can see those. I cut them into about like probably 1/2-inch pieces, and that's a good amount to actually like get them breaded and fried. So there's not that much, there's really just enough for 2 people to have for a snack. And we're gonna need 1 egg, some cornmeal, some flour, and some spices. Because if there's one lesson you take away from this, anytime you fry anything, the key to it tasting good is to season your flour, and season it to the point where you can smell it and it smells like seasoning. For your dry mixture, for your dredge, you're gonna use some cornmeal. I don't really measure much. I just probably do like, I don't know, maybe like 1/2 cup, let's call it. You're gonna lose some of this mixture anyway, so there's really like no perfect way to really measure it out. I feel like 1/2 cup cornmeal, maybe like 1/2 cup of flour. Get that in there. This is gluten-free flour. If you don't know, I have celiac disease, which means I cannot have regular flour. So we work around it. Gluten-free flour, I really like King Arthur, and I also really like Cup for Cup. But if you are not gluten-free, just use regular flour. I'm gonna add a little bit of potato starch. I like the way that potato starch fries up. It usually gets nice and crispy, and you don't really need that much, so I'm probably putting in like a tablespoon or 2. So we'll get that all mixed up and get that well incorporated. Okay, so then you're gonna open up your spice cabinet. Now this is a fun part because you can do honestly whatever you want. I'm gonna do some salt. So probably like a good solid tablespoon of salt. Pepper usually doesn't work great in here because the granules are pretty big and they just kind of fall off. I'm gonna do some garlic powder, maybe like a teaspoon of that. And then we're gonna toss in, that's not what I want. We're gonna toss in like maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of smoked, or a teaspoon, because that's what fell out. We're gonna toss in a teaspoon of paprika and like call it a teaspoon of chili powder. And let's call it a teaspoon of cumin. Like guys, I just like don't measure. And honestly, like I could measure, there are some things like baking you should always measure. But for like cooking like this on the fly, really as long as you have the basics for a dredge, so you have your egg, your whipped egg, and then you have, you know, flour, cornmeal, really just flour and cornmeal. I just added the potato starch because I like the texture of that. Really, once you get to that point, you can really make it your own and just kind of find out what you like. I think, you know, the biggest part about cooking that's enjoyable for me is the experimentation of it. And that doesn't mean I always get it perfect. I mean, you know, I've tried to, at least when I have company over, I try to go by my tried and true recipes and save my experimentation for just me and me and my partner. But you want to get in here and like put your face in the bowl. Don't be scared. You're not going to inhale it. Just, if you can smell some of the spices that you put in here, that is seasoned enough. Okay. So that takes care of our flour mixture. And then we're going to beat up an egg. Also, if you get eggs from the farmer's market, please just remember to rinse them off before you use them. Eggs keep better when they're not rinsed off, so sometimes they won't rinse them off if you get them from the farmer's market, but you do need to rinse them off before you use them. So I'm just going to use 1 egg for this amount of okra. And what I'm going to do is, this is actually, I don't know if this like actually works or if this is one of those things that like your parent does. Or even, I think this is actually a trick from my grandma because she came from a really massive family. She adds a splash of water to like extend the egg and make it go further. So I just always do that. I don't think it hurts at all. So we've got our egg, we've got our flour, we've got our okra. I like to get all of that set up before I really do anything else, but we're gonna need a frying pan. I'm gonna use my cast iron. I'm going to use this cast iron. This is actually the lid. I have a Lodge set that has like the Dutch oven with the lid. This is just the lid, and I use this for frying, and it's not, works totally fine. So we're gonna put that at a medium heat, and we're gonna use vegetable oil. You wanna use like a neutral oil that has a pretty high smoke point. You don't need it to like, this is more of a skillet fry than a deep fry. So a deep fry is gonna be where you actually have enough oil to fully submerge the thing that you're frying. A skillet fry is basically where you just have a little bit of oil to kind of like, you're gonna have to flip it basically. So we're going to just dump the egg mixture into this bowl, toss her around. And also you're gonna notice, because okra has that mucilage, so it's like, so okra can be a little bit slimy, and it's supposed to be that way. But you're gonna notice a little slime. Don't think twice about it. It's fine. And then we're just gonna go ahead. I have just about enough egg here. I don't really think I need to strain it out much. So I'm just gonna dump all of this into the dredge. And then we're really just gonna get this mixed around and get our okra coated. And again, like, I just don't subscribe to the fact that you need fancy shit to cook. It's just not something I believe in. I think as long as, I mean, this is a fork that I'm using. Like, you know, really, like, you need some utensils, you need some good pans. I like to have like nicer knives and stuff like that, but so this is what your dredged okra should look like. This right here. Okay. So that's what your dredged okra should look like. It should almost look like it's got like snow covering it. While the oil's heating up, I don't like measure the oil, by the way. I literally just put my hand over it and see if it's hot. You want it to be pretty hot. But I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and then we're gonna make like a little dipping sauce for the okra. So normally I would make a dipping sauce for the okra with like some like, you know, sour cream that we like cut with some milk and some lemon and some dill and some herbs. I cleaned out my fridge yesterday and we don't have any of those things. So we're just gonna eat this straight up today, but you can definitely make like an easy little dipping sauce that's more of like a cream sauce, and it's really freaking good. So you'll see the oil start to like shimmer a little bit. Sometimes I say that it's dancing. You'll start to see that, and if you're ever unsure of if it's ready, take a fork. So we're gonna take our fork, we're gonna lower one of our okra down in there, and just see if it fries up. if it doesn't immediately start frying, the oil's not hot enough. So this oil's not hot enough yet. You should start to see it immediately start frying. So I'm gonna get these fried up, turned over, and then I'll show you what they look like. Lana, have you joined us for a taste test? All right, y'all. Here's the finished product. Some good old fried okra, gluten-free. And I did drain them on a paper towel for a few minutes, but let's give them a taste. Okay, y'all. Oops, I dropped one. So, they're still a little warm. These are really good. And you'll definitely get some like cracking of your batter, of your dredge. That just kind of happens sometimes. I think these need like a sprinkling of salt, and I definitely think they need like a dipping sauce. Hey, Lana. Are you being a brave girl begging? Great Dane props. Oh, and we've got a Cooper boy begging. Wow, all right. Fried okra smells pretty dang good. All right, y'all. I'm going to try not to eat this whole bowl of fried okra, but I make no promises, so we'll catch up later this week.